Welcome back to the top news channel RF Update. If you find my video useful, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Nightmare, the EU faces major disaster imminent, Poland loses it. Fears of more migrants being deployed to the Polish border have triggered a European Union nightmare. In light of Belarus' threat to move additional migrants over the border to Poland's territory, the Polish government is pressing NATO and EU members to take action. In a recent comment, several readers said, the so-called EU has for years claimed that they alone have kept the peace on the continent of Europe since 1945. It seems that it may well be time for them to prove it. I've already got the popcorn. Others shared that, I worked on Christmas Island helping to construct this detention center off the shores of Australia, which was closer to Indonesia than AUS. This worked well, and when any illegal migrant ripped his ID up, he would stay on the island for good. When the island was full, the Aussies simply towed the boats back. They have not had a boat make it to their shores since 2008. The UN came to AUS in 2008 and said were disgusted with how AUS treated illegal migrants. The Australian government told the UN, keep your noses out as look at the disaster you've caused in Europe. Fact. Where is the EU army Macron is spouting about? First sign of trouble, and the EU is running to NATO, the organization that EU members underfund, to bail them out. According to one source, even as Poland's Prime Minister began a visit of the Baltic nations to seek assistance for his country's migrant dilemma, he accused Belarus of continuing to shuttle people to its border. It is said that Belarus has flown in hundreds of migrants from the Middle East and pushed them to enter the European Union, which has been at conflict with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko since the election of last year. But according to many readers' reviews, Poland must be supported by the EU, USA and the UK. This manufactured crisis by Russia and Lukashenko must not succeed. It would be too obvious if Belarus and Russian troops marched through Poland, so what better way to declare war than arranging this little episode? Of course, once they are through the defences, the so-called immigrants that were flown in will be wafting their way to the UK. Some sources say Lukashenko's assurances that he would remove camps and enable Iraqi refugees to return home cannot be seen as a sign that the hybrid war is finished, says Poland's Deputy Foreign Minister, Paweł Jablonski. He answered, he's a liar. You can't put your faith in him. Don't be fooled by promises or statements, this is a grave error. He's made a lot of promises. Nobody can trust Lukashenko. From the outset, he's been manipulating this situation. We have fairly solid knowledge as to where these assaults may be shifted, said Mr. Jablonski, warning of further strikes on both sides of the border. However, we're clearly under a lot of stress because of this. According to some expert reviews, this highlights the type of leaders from Russia are being used to escalate this. On one side they are letting them through, then refuse to let them back when they can't get past the borders the other side. This seems to be women with children, not males on their own. They are, it seems, being forced to try to get through to the West where they are not wanted, so refused entry. This is a bit like the coming from the EU to the UK. I believe France encourages them to try to come here.